Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK. I'm about to start planting my marginal pond plants, but I'm going to try a new, innovative and somewhat controversial technique. The reason I say it's controversial is because I mentioned this in a video the other day and several people said, no, don't do it. I don't want to see that plastic pot. And also, I want to give the plant somewhere to grow. So what I intend doing is taking a piece of old turf, cutting most of the soil off the back of it using a saw. Then I will cut using a kitchen knife a square hole in the middle of it. I'll plant the plant in that square hole. Then I'll put it in the pond. Then I'll cover that sod with gravel. And all I'll see is a mound of gravel with a plant sticking out the top. The roots will be able to spread into that soil and the plant will be able to spread above the soil surface. Now, I know what the controversy is about. People have suggested, and they're probably quite right, that if you put all that organic matter into the pond water, it will cause an unbalance of the pond water, and it might create lots of nitrates and nitrites in the water, which will create an algal bloom. I don't have a problem with that because I'm quite happy for my pond to spend some time regaining its balance. Now, if you were doing this in a small pond with fish in it, obviously exercise caution. I don't have any fish in my wildlife pond. I see this as like a great big lump of turf that's been thrown into a pond in the wild. The pond in the wild will survive, my pond will survive and come back. If it goes wrong, you can say, I told you so. If it goes right, it can be the Mark's Garden UK method of planting marginal pond plants. So let's get into it. So off comes the vast majority of the soil at the back. That's going to be face down. The green matter is going to be on the pond liner. Now, I think that's about right. About the same depth as the pot. Now let's get in there and cut a nice square hole about the same size as the pot. If you're going to try this at home, be careful with your fingers using a sharp knife in the garden. So through we go, and through we go, and through we go, through we go, and eventually that is going to pop out, and this, my water spearmint, is going to sit nicely and neatly into that hole. Look at that, isn't that lovely? I mean, you've got to admit, this is a lovely idea, whether it works or not. So, I've put this on a board so that I can offer it up to one of the ledges in my pond. So let's get over to the pond and put this in situ. I'll take the gravel with me. So, this water spearmint is to be planted at a depth of 0 to 5 centimetres. So that's around about here. And in it goes. And you can see the bubbles coming out of that turf. And that can just sit nicely there. And now, I'm going to bury it in gravel. I love an experiment, me. You've got to try these things. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Now that plant there has got quite a lot of organic matter to grow into, and I'm hoping that will help it to spread. And I'd rather see a nice pile of gravel with a plant coming out of it than a plastic plant pot, and that's what I can see now. So I'm happy with that. We'll do the rest of them now. I'm going to pioneer this technique with all my marginal plants, and I'll come down tomorrow morning and this will be a thick green soup. I'm sure it won't. Anyway, I'm going to do them all and I'm going to come back to you and say goodbye. And so there we are, as if by magic, all my marginals and oxygenators and deep water plants are planted in, not in plastic tubs, but in sods of grass with gravel on top. And whilst I'm talking, I'll give you a look at them. Now, there will be people that think this is about spending money. It isn't. It's not the expense, frankly. The gravel would probably cost more than the pots. It's about the aesthetic, and it's about giving the plants somewhere to grow. So hopefully by having an organic medium around their roots, they will spread out. Now, it might well be the case that if you plant your plants in this way, you lose any plant guarantees, so be careful. And if you want to find out how it turns out before you do it, then obviously subscribe, follow, hit the notifications bell, because I will update you. If it fails, I'll be honest with you, I'll tell you about it. But I can't see how it will fail. There's so much water in this pond, and I've added so little turf that I can't imagine it's going to make that much difference to the water quality. It might push it off balance for a few weeks, but it will soon come back when all these lovely plants start to grow and suck all those pollutants and nitrates and nitrites out of the water. So there we go. Join me soon for some more wildlife pond adventures. I'll get a load of footage of this so that we can compare it in a month's time. And don't forget that discount code in the box below this video, 10% off your first order with Pond Keeper. I'll also put a plant list of wildlife friendly pond plants. Bye for now.